For nearly 30 years, Saferworld has been working to build peaceful, just and inclusive societies.
When the process to replace the Millennium Development Goals began, Saferworld decided that we must work to make peace an integral part of the new global development agenda.
Saferworld efforts to get a specific goal on peace, just and inclusive societies was reflected in the final agreement.
It is so decided.
The world needs a generational vision that speaks to the roots of our deepest problems. This is why Agenda 2030 has potential. Freedom to speak out, to participate in decision-making, action on corruption and the flow of dirty money away from those who need it, access to justice and legal identity, a commitment to end violence, action on inequality in every walk of life for every person, most importantly for women. These are the people's priorities, the world they want their children to live in. They need peace as they need clean air, water and food.
But the agreement of the 2030 Agenda can only take us so far. These words on paper now need to transform people's lives, which is why since 2015 Saferworld has been integrating SDG16 into our programming, including a project in Horn of Africa supporting civil society leaders to work with champions in the government to galvanize action.
Evidence from past experiences shows that international frameworks like the SDGs can and have made a difference. They can motivate governments to take action, they can legitimise the work of activists and civil society, and they can bring together in common cause different groups working on a range of interrelated issues like gender, justice and transparency. And we're beginning to see the same effect with the Sustainable Development Goals in some countries where we're working.
Somaliland was one of the locations we chose for our pilot SDG16 project. It's a really interesting case study and will hopefully be a model we can replicate in other locations around the world. We are bringing together civil society leaders, government officials, civil servants and local communities to identify where SDG16 can catalyze change. We have been able to convene communities working on access to justice, political participation, ending female genital mutilation and protecting the freedom of information, all under the banner of SDG16+, something that would be a lot more difficult without the 2030 Agenda.
While we're beginning to see the value of Goal 16 at a national level, Saferworld remains committed to strengthening support for implementation of Goal 16 at the international policy level. A crucial part of this is ensuring that the voices and perspectives of those who are working for peace, for justice and inclusion in conflict-affected states are listened to in the United Nations and in other policy centres where such voices are often marginalised or even ignored.
Saferworld mantra when the 2030 Agenda was adopted was from agreement to action. And while we have seen many new initiatives launch, we are still a long way from seeing real meaningful progress in the majority of countries around the world.
So we pledge today our best efforts to make peace, participation, people's security, gender equality, justice and integrity come alive with and through your institutions. Madam President, thank you.
Thank you.
To implement the SDGs, we have to get real about the level of investment, the degree of change needed, and the role of each and every one of us in building peaceful, just and inclusive societies.